Hi, this is Mike Gant, and this is the weekly teaching for October 29th, I think it is. It's Saturday. And I think that this is the 52nd week I've done this. I might not have the number, I might be off by one. I should have looked at it before I did this, sorry. But today, rather than teaching, I just want to announce that this will be the last video that I do, at least for a while. I'm just going to stop for now. I'm not saying I'm going to stop forever. And I wanted to explain a little bit, so this video will be up there to explain why I did that. I originally started this video because I wanted, just all social media is just opening up so much. It's so easy to have a way to get content out, make it available to people. That's why I started the blog in December of 2009. I started the blog, and then a couple of months later, I added another blog to support that one, to put some more biblical content on it. And then about a month after that, I started a third blog, which was directed at people more familiar with the Bible, and over the years, that sort of alternated between people familiar with the Bible and Christian leaders like pastors and so on. And then I had a fourth blog called Current Events, which related the teachings I was given to current events of the day, a biblical perspective on them. And then a fifth one called Reference Shelf for the Kingdom of God, which was about providing connections to other Christian resources that would support someone who was wanting to seek the kingdom of God, and who believed the things that I was teaching and yet needed more than I could provide. And so I've got just background material on the Bible on there and how it was put together, why you can trust it, the history behind how it was assembled and how it's been preserved, demonstrating that the Bible is the most reliable piece of literature we have from ancient times, and that if you think you can read Plato's Republic and understand what Plato thought about philosophy, then you ought to be able to. Then you can trust what Peter and Paul and the others had to say about Jesus. And similarly, if you can trust what Aristotle said about rhetoric when you read him, then you can trust what the New Testament says. Now, some people say, well, yeah, but I don't know whether I can believe someone who's raised from the dead. Well, that's a different issue. You can decide that once you read it. I mean, for me, I read it. I just find it absolutely compelling. I just cannot find any way to deny the testimony these guys are given. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the history of, can we trust that what we read is what they wrote? There's this other question, is what they wrote true? But I'm just trying to help, through this I was trying to help people see, can we trust that what we read is what they actually wrote? Once you know that you can trust that what you read is what they wrote, then you can read it and decide whether or not you believe what they said. So anyway, that was the fifth blog. And the sixth blog, I was going to do on marriage and family, but I learned pretty quickly that it was too much. 6 blogs was too much. I just got kind of overwhelmed with all the mechanics of managing all that. There's behind the scenes stuff you have to do. And that's the way it's been with social media in general for me, is I've just kind of gotten out there and explored what I could do. And I found that a lot of things are easy to start, but that they're not that easy to maintain. Another example of something I started and then stopped was a ministry newsletter. I thought it'd be a good idea for the people who were interested to give a background on even things like I'm talking about right now, like why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm doing A instead of B, or why I'm doing C instead of D. And I did that for a while, and I think at first I became uncomfortable because I like everything I'm doing to be public. So the more I did it, the more I felt like I'm conveying all this information to just the single audience that's not signed up. So I started putting it online, making the text available online too. And then once I did that, I thought, well, what's the point of having a newsletter? Anyway, I don't need to go into all that detail. My point is that with social media, it's a case of trying things out and making choices, and you learn as you go. And I'm one person and I only have so much time, and so I have to make choices. And some things make sense to do for a while and then stop. Other things you think you can do indefinitely, and then you find out that doesn't make sense. One of the main reasons I did this video teaching, was that was for people who don't know me, to be able to see a face and hear a voice behind. Well, they could hear the voice through the podcast, but I guess to be able to see a face and to see my body language. And granted, I'm writing some things that are very new to a lot of people's ears. I mean, everyone is going to heaven. Jesus Christ is already coming in. These things are not completely unheard of. I mean, you can go back in church history at different points and find people who believed one or more of these things. But I freely admit there just aren't a lot of people preaching the package or the totality of what I'm preaching about Jesus. And so I think I can understand a person's curiosity. Well, what kind of person is writing this? So that was the reason I started this. Well, I've got a year's worth of these things out there, and so there'll be roughly 50 of these out there for people to look for, as long as YouTube keeps them up there, which I presume will be indefinitely. So that purpose has been accomplished. I don't need to do another 50 to make that available to people. And another aspect of this is just that the viewership has been so small. I think in recent weeks, I think just looking at I looked this morning at the last 5 or 6 weeks, and I think the high number of views on one video that I saw were 15, and on another were 5. So the numbers are just really low. And it's not that I'm trying to run up numbers, but if my goal is to get a message out, to get information out to people, I've got to devote my time where it's going to do the most good, where it's going to be the most productive. If I'm a farmer and one field has very rich, fertile soil, and the other field has not got a lot of rocks in it, I'm going to be better off sowing. And if I've only got time to sow one field, I'm better off sowing in the one that has good, fertile soil in it. So the blog right now, I'm doing a podcast. I'm reading through the Bible, which is about a 3-year project, a little over 3 years it'll take when you read one chapter a day. And I've still got about a year and a half left to complete it. I've already completed the New Testament, and approaching halfway through the Old Testament. So still about a year or more left on that. I'm doing that. I'm still writing blog posts, and of course I'm working on the books. And in the last, couple of months, I've gotten sidetracked in my book research and gone back to spending some time on the blogs. And so that's probably going to shift back again. I'm going to go back and be back to work on the books more exclusively. So the blog post content might go down. But anyway, these are all balancing acts. The podcasts reach about 100 people a day. And the average varies. Sometimes it's as low as 50. Sometimes it's as much as 125 or 150. The blog post, the main blog, is visited about 150 times a day. The current events blog about 100. The Christian leaders blog about 100. And I don't know what the other two are. So I'm just not that I'm reaching vast numbers of people right now, but obviously I'm reaching many more people through the blogs and the podcasts than I am through the video. And even the books. In the last couple of months, there have been a little over 243 books. I just looked it up. So 243 books in the last 3 months have been downloaded that are sitting on somebody's digital reader somewhere, which I hope they're reading. So just in terms of number of people that I'm trying to help, you can see the disparity there. So I feel like I need to devote more time to that. So I think that's all. I made some notes here. Let me make sure I covered everything I wanted to tell you. I think this is all. And I've done this in a very relaxed way. I haven't worried about production values. I haven't worried about repeating myself or clearing my throat or anything else. And part of that was to be very candid and just let people who don't know me see me as I am. And also, I did it also for people who maybe know me but haven't seen me in a long time. And they're like, was this that same Mike Gant that I used to know? And this would be a way for them to do that. But as I say, I got these videos out there now, so that's there. Well, anyway, thanks for listening. I hope the teachings were a blessing to you. And if they were, I hope you'll continue to benefit from the blogs and especially from the books. Because I try to spend, both of them. I won't try to say one's more important than the other. I'll say this, that the blogs have an enormous amount. Since I've been doing this now for, let's see, it's almost 7 years. 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, I guess it'd be 7 years in December that I've been doing this. And I've been just trying to get the content out there. So the blogs have a lot of information in them, but it's not necessarily that easily accessible for some people. They might feel overwhelmed trying to navigate it all. And that's why in the books, I'm trying to, on the most important subjects, assemble the information so that someone can by the title. And I try to title the books in such a way that the person knows exactly what the book is going to be about. And if I can't get it all in the title and the subtitle, I try to put it in the book description, which appears in wherever the book's available. So there I'm trying to help a person on a specific subject that has specific interests, give a concentrated, focused effort to educating them about what the Bible has to say about those things. So I hope these resources are helpful to you. If you got feedback for me, whether positive or negative, you're welcome to leave that on the blogs. It's real easy to do that. And I think that's all I got to say for now. So thanks, and God bless you, especially as you seek to follow Jesus. And remember, he said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Everything else you need will be added to you. God bless you.